tool times with me. They are recorded and they're put up on my YouTube channel. I'll link that in the chat at the end of the session. That way you guys can take a look at it. The last couple tool times we've talked about so far are all your profiles that you needed to get completed on the desk, as well as in Moxie and things like that. And then we talked about last time all the different types of places that you should have a profile. And one of the ways that we talked about kind of extensively last week was Google profiles. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I'd like to open the floor with any questions. Does anyone have any questions that they've ran across in the last week or so, that they're stuck or they need anything before I get started? Anything pressing? Anything crazy? No? Okay, good. All right. Well, I know that last time Dennis was on and he challenged us to 700 listings by the end of this year. So we're in October now, folks. So that means that each of you guys needs to get a listing today. So all of the tool times are geared towards tools that we have on CB Desk to help you get listings, but also just to help you in general with your business. So keep that in mind going forward. 700 listings. I know most of the offices are down on listings, so let's get started and get out there today and prospect and get a listing. I encourage you. I have some managers on here today, and I'm sure that they would echo those statements and say, get a listing today. So today we're actually going to go over one of my favorite tools that we have on CB Desk. It's called MarketQuest V2. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about MarketQuest V2 today. Will someone pop off mute and just let me know they can see my screen when they have a second?
Yes.
Yay! That was in unison. Jinx to whoever said yes together. One of you owes each other a Coke. Okay, so everything starts on my CB Desk. Just to let you know, we have been having a little bit of trouble with Desk in the last couple weeks or so. I know that my left-hand side of Desk went bye-bye for a little bit today, and then some of the apps aren't showing up, like Realty, you can see. So sometimes there's maintenance that they're doing on Desk, so don't be alarmed. They're usually aware of the issue, but if you're having issues with Desk, remember you can always contact the help center. How you can do that is you can either this little button over here on the right hand corner, you can either chat with them, you can either call, if you need to reset your password right here, you can, or leave desk feedback. So just remember, you always have this help center right here. A lot of times agents, we used to have the help desk number down here in the bottom and it's gone. So I get a lot of emails. Hey, Brittany, what's the help desk number? You can always call or request help by putting in a ticket right here using this button, and it will take you to put in a ticket. That way you don't have to call if you don't want to. You can. They'll give you the phone number here. But if you're ever having an issue with Desk, I just want to remind you, you can always go to this little help button on the top bottom right-hand corner and get some help. The same thing goes with Moxie. Moxie has a help center that you can chat with live too. So a lot of times I always get, calls, what do I do? And if I tell you to put in a ticket with Moxie, you're going to want to go through the Moxie tile. If I tell you to put in a ticket through Desk, this is what I'm talking about. Go ahead and here. And usually I give you the number, but you can do it here too. All right, so we're going to go into MarketQuest V2. The tile on Desk looks like this. Reminder, I don't think we've touched on this really a lot in the last couple sessions, is each of our tiles usually has a help center. So if you have any questions, there's usually FAQs there. Help if you're running into an issue. A lot of your questions can actually be answered by going to the help center. Sometimes they have recordings or, PDFs that walk through some of the questions that you might have. So just keep that in mind. Most of the tiles do have a help center, or they have the ability for you to go to these three little dots right here and click a help center. So if you click onto MarketQuest V2, it's going to drop you into a screen that looks like this. You can always change your view on your computer so that your number one claims looks like this, where you have all four. And how I did that is I just went to my three little dots up here next to my Google profile, and I zoomed out. I think it defaults to 100% unless you've actually zoomed in. I'm wearing my glasses today, so I can actually see far away. So I can zoom out and I can see all four of these, but sometimes you have it zoomed in like this just so you can see. So if your screen looks a little different than mine, that's why. Remember, three little dots, upper right-hand corner. You can zoom in and zoom out. I get that question a lot. So you're going to drop into MarketQuest V2. Here is a couple things that we can do on this page. So there are 4 things that you can pull in MarketQuest V2 for reports. That is, We have a number one claims report. So this shows the number one claims that we have in our area in a specific geographical area or a zip code. We have market position, which really just shows you the position of where we are as a brokerage in the position of the market. We have market trends. So this is actually a detailed, comprehensive, think of this as like the more analytical report where it shows you market trends from the previous month. And then we have market snapshot. So market snapshot is going to give you like a little snapshot of a specific market. I bet most of you are familiar with this report. A lot of agents share this on social media. A lot of our SSAs do this because they're so wonderful and they pull these reports for you and post them too. And it's like the top 5 statistics in the area and you can kind of pick and choose those. So remember there's 4 reports in MarketQuest V2. Quick little tidbit, if you're a part of multiple MLSs, you are going to want to choose the MLS that you want to pull this from. So let me see if I can go into Pensacola just because that's where I live. I'm going to save that. So I want to do Pensacola, but if you have 2 MLSs feeding onto your profile, like we have some Navarre agents that are in Pensacola, Navarre, and ECAR, you'll want to make sure whichever one you're trying to pull in, you have the correct one. If you can't change your MLS, it just means that you're only a part of one and it is locked into that one. A couple things that we want to do before we start pulling reports is we do want to edit our settings. So on my contact block in my settings, you're going to want to make sure there is a photo here so you can edit the photo. It's also going to have individual contact info. So it's got my name, information. Mine's going to look a little different just because I am considered staff in internet sales. So it's showing obviously my office address is in Sarasota, which is untrue. Make sure all that's connected and correct, as well as your social media. So make sure you link your social media accounts. So how you would do that is you would go in there and you'd edit that. You can also select a background image. So there's 2 that you can select from when these ports are being pulled. One is this like starry night, which really does remind me of Call Banker. And then one is this picture of these 2 individuals looking at a telescope into the starry night. I kind of like this one better, so I'm going to keep that one. I don't think you can upload an image here. You might, I want to say you guys might be able to. If you can't, then those are the only 2 that you can choose from. Sometimes you guys have different stuff on your end that I can see. So make sure all this is filled out for you in your settings. And then we'll go back to the home page. If I just click on this MarketQuest button up at the top in left-hand corner, it's like my home buttons. It'll always take me back to my home. So we're going to start with the number 1 claims. So again, this is going to be number 1 claims in this area. So what it does is it starts pulling number 1 claims in a specific zip code. So it's showing you in the 32505, 32506, we have some number 1 claims here. So I could just click on these and there's 58 pages in the zip code that we do have number 1 claims in. So I could pull this up and just see what they look like. Or if I wanted to search a specific like location, I can do that too. So I can search by county, city, and zip code here. I can also filter it differently. So by county, if I wanted to choose Baldwin, Escambia, or Okaloosa, it looks like in Baldwin, Escambia, and Okaloosa, we don't have any number 1 claims. They start in Santa Rosa. In the city, same thing. If it's grayed out like this, it's just saying we don't have number 1 claims. And this is changing rapidly. Think about this. This changes every month. So this data comes in. So these number 1 claims are going to change. So you can see if there's any that are like Milton, we have a number 1 claim. And then we do in Navarre as well. Same thing with zip code. So it'll show you by zip code. If it's grayed out, it doesn't have a number 1 claim. If it's not grayed out, then I can go ahead and click on it. For report filters, we can filter it out depending on what we want. So if we want to talk about number 1 claims on the transaction side, we can either do by total, list side, or buy side. For sales types, we can either look at this report by units or volume. In time period, we can do last year, last quarter, year to date. So again, remember what I was saying, that this can actually be a little bit of a fluid report, because if it's year to date, it's going to take into account all the months. So just know that this might change. You might come in here and maybe your zip code doesn't have a number 1 claim right now, but just keep looking back. You can also use last year's data too. And then for price ranges, you can choose all price ranges or $1 million plus. Remember, we are number 1 in $1 million plus everywhere. That is a Coldwell Banker brand that we are. We're number one in $1 million sales plus. So you'll probably have some good data with that one. And then you can either view it by brand, brokerage, or office. So let me go ahead and pull a couple of these reports so you can see what they look like. And just for the sake of time, under location filters, I'm going to choose a zip code that I know has a number one claim. And then for report filters, I'm not going to actually put anything. I'm going to see what I actually get. But I do want to look at it by brand. So then I'm going to hit update, and I have two reports here. So I have by side volume and by side units. So if I click on this, this is a year-to-date report. It's going to show you that we are the leading brand by side volume from January to August 2022. Obviously, we just finished September, so give this report a couple days to load. What day are we on? We're on the 3rd. Usually by the 5th or the 6th, we'll have that data from the previous month. So you could probably come in here in a couple days. Maybe after our tool training, you get some time at the end of the week to come in here and pull this report. This will probably have that September data in there. So it will show you that number one, Coldwell Banker's number one leading. The next behind us is Keller Williams, EXP, Levin, Rinke, and Better Homes and Garden. And that's in the zip code of 32505. So we can download these assets. And what I mean by downloading the assets is if we wanted to actually take this to social media, or if we wanted to put it on our website, or if we wanted to send it in an email, put it in our newsletter, we could go ahead and download that. And it'll tell you, hey, social image right here. You can also run a HomeSpotter boost ad with this data. So if you're like trying to target a specific area, maybe you're really working on 32505, you could actually take this and put it into a HomeSpotter boost ad and run a social media advertisement with this piece of information. So I wanted to show you what that looked like. Let me go back because I want to show you what the zip code by side units looks like. So same thing, we're kind of tied neck and neck with Keller Williams right now. So it would be interesting to see what that looks like with that September data. But same thing, that we can go ahead and download it as a social image or a HomeSpotter ad. So if we wanted to download this one, we would just click social image right here. And it's going to ask us, do we want wide, tall, or square? So you're going to probably want square for most social media assets. So you'll click that square button. You can see that my screen is spinning. That just means that it's going to download in the correct size, and I can save it to my computer. So here is the square image ready to go for social media. This would be great for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all different types of social media platforms really like that square image. And the great thing about this is it's already branded with our Coldwell Banker Correct logo. We talked about that in our first session, making sure that we're on brand standard and making sure that everybody in our company is using the Coldwell Banker Realty logo. So it's got our correct DBA is what we call it. And it's also got your disclaimer down here so you don't have to worry about putting that on social media, especially because we're talking about a statistic. You have to have a disclaimer with it. So you don't even have to worry about that. It's ready to go. So then I would just come up to my three little dots here and save it. So we can save it as number one in 32505. And now I would have that ready to go for my Facebook. And we also talked about in the first session scheduling out posts on social media. So how to schedule this out on my Facebook. So maybe Fridays are my like statistical analytical days. Maybe I could schedule this post to go out for Friday on my social media page that we're ranked number one in my farm area. So that is number one claims. I also wanted to show you if we changed it from instead of brand to brokerage, what that looks like. So if I update that, it's just going to look a little different. So it's going to say Coldwell Banker Realty. It doesn't look too different. It would just be like by brokerage side by side volume. If I did by office, that would mean your office, and you can see there's no number one claims found by office. So sticking with brand or brokerage is going to be your easiest way to find number one claims. If you want to find by your specific office, you will have to kind of tinker with this report to see what kind of data that you can find. You can also save your search criteria up here at the top with this little heart button. So if this is like your ultimate favorite report that you like to run every single month on the 5th or 6th of the month, you could save that search criteria. So when you come in here, it automatically populates. So you don't have to go through all the steps we just went to. you do it one time and you set it and forget it and just keep coming back to update and grabbing those graphics. So before I move on, does anyone have any questions about the #1 claims report that you can find here in MarketQuest V2? Let me exit out, stop sharing, and see if anyone has any questions. Let me look at the chat box. What is the difference in MarketQuest and MarketQuest 2 tile? Good question, Kelly. We used to have a MarketQuest tile. It no longer is accessible to our agents. So if you have the MarketQuest, just the MarketQuest tile on your desk, go ahead and hide that one. It's MarketQuest V2 that you're going to want to have. It's a good question, Kelly. Anybody else have any questions before I move on? No? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Let me share my screen again. Just somebody let me know you can see my screen again, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow down on the side here on my menu button to the other reports. I can always just go back to my dashboard on my homepage and click on market position, but you saw on the left-hand side, it had these options. So we're going to go to the next one, which is market position. I'm going to show you our market position in the area. So it's going to give you a error message here. It says, due to financial reporting timelines, last quarter is Q2, Q3 will be available on October 27th. And that's just because we are a publicly traded company, so it takes them a while to get our financials out. So just keep that in mind. So this is going to be Q3 date, or Q2 data. Q3 data will not be available until October 27th. So just make sure you know that. It's saying right now our market position in just this area where I have some things checked randomly. It's saying we're number 4 in this area. We've got 6% total market share. We're down $121 million in this area, and it'll tell you the leading brokerages in the area. And it'll also give you the market position data. So let's actually scroll back up here and let's do a little search here. So I'm going to want to do in location filters. You can see that when I open location filters under market position, it's giving me a little bit more data than it did in #1 claims. I can now do an MLS area, I can do a school district, and I can even do a subdivision. So if I have a subdivision that I'm really sitting there and I'm, farming, I can actually look at that subdivision and see what the market share and the market position is in that subdivision. So keep that in mind. This report, the market position report, can actually go all the way down to the subdivision, whereas #1 claims only let us do county, city, and zip code. This opens up school district, subdivision, and MLS area. So we can choose county. Let's choose Escambia County, and we'll just kind of go from there. City, let's just do, oh man. Let's see if we can find mine. Is mine already done? I can't even see mine. Let's do, I'm gonna do any of these because that's not even it. Let's just do, for right now, let's just do a Escambia and let's see what we come up with in the data. And then we can go even further down if we need to. Report filters, it's now giving us more things to choose from. So we can do single family, townhome, condo, multifamily, mobile, commercial, lot and land. For any of my RCC commercial, just an FYI, I've tried this report for commercial data and it doesn't give us really great data just because most of the time commercial listings aren't put in the local MLS board. They're put into like LoopNet or Crexi or things like that. So it's not the best data. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to pull it for commercial. It does do a really great job for lot and land. So if this is something that you're looking for, keep that in mind. Same for townhome and condo. So I'm just going to do single family in Escambia. And then let's just do total on transaction side and we'll do volume. And let's do year to date. Let's see where we are year to date. You can also do a custom range. So if I wanted to choose the start date of just 1 month, I could, or you can just do the whole year to date. So again, this is just going to pull until August just because we're still waiting on September data. You can change the price range here. You can see there's a lot more filters in market position than there was in #1 claims. The filters will allow you to choose a price. So if you're looking for a specific price range, maybe you're looking for the average price range for your office. We talked about this when we came around with Nick Brown, knowing your average sales price as an agent as well as in the office. So maybe you want to look at that, you can. And then again, viewing it by brand, brokerage, or even down to the agent. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to pull a couple reports. So let's click brand first and see if we have any data. So we're number 3 in this market with the different filters that I chose. We've got 6% of the market share, and we're down 155 million to the number 1 position. You can compare to see who's in the number 1 position, and it's showing you this data from 1/1 to 6/30. You can also change this report to show as percentage instead of as dollars. Totally up to you how you like to look at your data and how you like to consume data. It would just kind of turn it on and turn it off. And then it's going to show you even down from market position data, the company, what the list buy side, what the total is, the units per share. So this is like, it can get really granular if you want to look at this content. So just keep in mind, it does have all this. And then again, we have the same option as we did last time, where we can go ahead and download this as a social image or a HomeSpot or Boost ad. Obviously, we probably wouldn't want to share this data. We'd want to find our specific farm areas, just kind of using a example. So let's see what it looks like at the agent perspective. So if I hit update, it's going to show you who's the number 1 leading agent by total volume right here, and it'll tell you the different people, and then it'll show you their market position data down here. So it'd be kind of cool if you're an agent and you really dominate a specific area and you're spending a lot of time in a specific farm neighborhood. It'd be cool to pull this data so you could prove, hey, I'm the number 1 agent in that specific farm area. So if this was me and I was pulling this report, what I would do is under location filters, instead of choosing county, I would actually choose the subdivision that I service as an agent. And I would pull the report that way by agent and see where I stood as the agent. Am I the number 1 agent in that area? If I'm not, what I'm going to do to get that next listing, like we just talked about, and be that number 1 agent. You can also do school district as well, same as MLS area. And then zip code. So if we wanted to do a different zip code, we could, and see what the data is for that area. Let's try a different zip code instead of a county. Let me try a zip code. Let's see what we have in this. I think I still have the agent one on. All right. So the specific county that I chose, the specific zip code, it's showing you different agents that are number 1 in that area. So you can just see where you compare. Let's try one more, because I know we have some in PACE. What is PACE? This is 32571, I think. See what PACEs look like. See if I can get rid of this one. Do PACE. Maybe not. I don't know what the you guys know your zip codes. I'm not good with zip codes, but just know you can go down to the zip codes. You can also go down to county. You can go down to subdivision, school district, and MLS neighborhood. So like I said, if you're farming in a specific area and you're really focusing your efforts on a specific area, this would be a great way to see the data, to see where you stand in the agent perspective, as well as in the brand. So keep that in mind. In the market position, you can get a little bit more granular with your location filters, as well as in your report filters with what you want to look at. So if you're selling a lot of condos, maybe you're in the Destin area, or maybe you're in the beach area and you're a condo queen or condo king, come in here and see what that looks like and what our position is. And again, you can change your date range. You can do a custom. You can also do it by sales type or by transaction side. And same thing with the number 1 claims. You can come in here and save that search criteria. So when you come in here every month to see that data, it's already saved for you, so you don't have to come in here and fuddle with all this. It's already done and ready to go. So the next one that we have is market trends. Remember, I told you this one is a little bit more of the beefier report. It's got a little bit more of the analytical data. And what I mean by that is if we look at what the report is going to look like, it's got multiple pages. So this is going to be our big guy. This would be something you would probably want to either insert in a Moxie presentation or send it to a specific buyer or seller, but it's a little bit more of a report that you're not going to really want to share on social media. It's going to be something that's like a one-off, or if you're presenting in front of somebody, you can show them the market trends in that area. So under location filters, it has that same granular, so you can go all the way down to a subdivision, school district, MLS, neighborhood, or zip code. Let's do zip code, and I'm actually going to just search my zip code just because why not? live in Cantonment, so I'm going to use that Cantonment zip code, and it's showing you I have that selected. For the report filters, I'm going to take off townhomes and condos. I live up in an area where we don't have any townhomes or condos or multifamilies. And then for time period, I can do, I can't do the previous, oh, I guess it's letting me do 9/22. Okay, that's September. It's giving me that September data already. So let's see what that September data is pulling. And then I can change that price range. So I can change it if I wanted to go like only 200,000 or up homes, or I can leave it blank. So let's leave it blank to see what this report aggregates. So then I'm going to click my update button, and you can see here is my report. So we've got it to where we can look at this report by up and down, meaning up and down, green and red for down. We can look at it by percentages or numbers. So depending on how you like to, again, consume your data, you might want to filter this differently. I'm a percentage person. I like the percentage option because not only does it show me percentage, but it gives me the green and red so I can kind of see. And it's going to show me my year-to-date numbers for average list price and my zip code, September versus August, and then average June through August, and then September 2021. So you can look at that data and really see that in a kind of broad way. And then it goes down, you can see it's got medium list price, average sales price, medium sales price, and so forth. If I scroll down, then it goes into the data a little bit more, and this is an interactive chart. So we've got average and medium sales price. So it's going to tell you the medium sales price in September 2022 was 3,338, down 1.7 from 344 from the previous month, and 20% higher than September 2021. So you can see we're still trending up, but we are a little bit down from the previous month. And then how you read this chart, obviously, is you got your price on the left-hand side, and then you've got your years and months on the bottom that run across this. And then you can read the chart, obviously, here where it says average sales price and medium sales price. And if you hover over it, it'll tell you where you're at. So this is saying September 2022. This is saying August 2022. This is saying June 2022. So you can use this as an interactive map to really see the data on the graph. Again, you have sales price versus list price ratio. You can kind of see how it's changed looking at the years starting in 2020. We've kind of got a market that's gone up and down, except for right here. So you can really look at that data and plot it. We've got number of properties sold and absorption rate. I really like this graph. I think it's a great example to kind of look all the way back at 2019 to where we are today and how we're really leveling off again. But we can see we had a couple months in 2022 where our absorption rate and our number of properties sold was down in the 40s, and we're not trending too far down. We've got average days on market. This is another very interesting map to look from 2019 all the way to where we are now. We went from having like the highest day on market in 2020 of what month was this? May 2020 of 102, and it's averaged trended down, and then it's kind of averaging back up. So it's a really great data just to look at the trends in real estate too. Anybody who's been in real estate for a long time knows that the market doesn't stay the same, and this graph is a really great graph to see that. We've got average sales price per square foot. It's the same thing. You can, use this map. It's interactive, kind of look at where we're at. We're trending a little bit down, getting a little bit more stable. Then we've got inventory and MSI. So same thing all the way back to 2019. New listings. So these are the new listings that were captured from 2019 all the way up to September. And then if we scroll back all the way to the top, that's how you can download this report. So you can either share the report right here by exporting it as a PDF. So if you did want to put it in your Moxie presentation, so if you wanted to take this to a Moxie presentation that you are working on, you would want to export it as a PDF and then import it as a custom page in Moxie. So you could do it that way. You could email it to yourself or to a potential buyer or seller. Or you could download the data right here to your computer and save it and then work with it how you want. But if I share the report, let's just export it as a PDF so you can see what it looks like. This is what the report looks like. Remember how I told you it was important to make sure your profile was complete at the beginning of the session. This is why. It's got all your information here. Obviously, if you're going to email this report, it's going to be interactive just like it was with us. if you're going to print it or you're going to save it as a PDF, it's not going to be interactive. So just keep that in mind. If you want an interactive report, just like Moxie, same thing. If you want it to be interactive, you send it via email. If you don't want it to be interactive, you can either print it or you can save it to your computer. This was all of the pages that I showed you. So if you didn't want all of those and you only wanted a few, you could actually uncheck the ones that you don't want. So if you thought one was obsolete or one that you didn't want to share with a potential buyer or seller, you could actually uncheck this and create a custom report to your needs. You're going to want to make sure that the location is going to show you the zip code that you have, the property types, the date range, and then the price range. And if I scroll down, it's just going to have that same report, but it has me branded at the top. That's why it's important to have all your information correct, because you can see it has my phone number and my email. So if somebody wanted to email me or call me, they could do that easily. So that's what the report looks like. And you can download it either landscape or portrait. We now take both into Moxie, but I would just recommend doing a portrait in Moxie. It always seems to do better, but up to you and however you want to print it. You can export that data and you can choose which one, and you could just print it and add it to your presentation, or you could upload it to a PDF custom page in Moxie. So that is your market trends report in MarketQuest. Again, that's the more beefy analytical report. It's got a lot of information, and it's a really great comprehensive report. The last thing that you can do in MarketQuest V2 is Market Snapshot. This one is an awesome one. This one I feel like a lot of agents already know about, and I'm glad that you guys are using it. This is just a quick thing that you can put on your social media in your farm area, or you could use it to just, talk about specific areas in town, a little snapshot. So with the location filters, you can get granular all the way to a subdivision. So again, if you're, farming a specific subdivision, which we've talked about doing over and over again, you can pull that data. Same thing with zip code, city, or county. So again, we're just going to use my zip code as an example. The country. And then for the report filters, I'm again going to take out townhome and condominium because there's not any up here. And then I can either do a monthly or a custom date range. So if I wanted to do, obviously we can't do, it's saying monthly, it's going to be month to date for 10/22. We could do a custom date range. So if we wanted to do from like the beginning of the year to the end of the, till now, we could. And this data is all flowing from the MLS. So just make sure you know that that's where this data is all coming from. It's coming from your MLS board. We're just going to choose monthly for right now. And then you can do a price range again. So if you were like working a specific price area or range, you could choose that and then hit update. This is what the report is going to look like. So we've got, it's down 100%. Medium list price is 360. Sales price for list price ratio is down. So this is for October 2022. So it's a current one right now. Obviously, October just started, so this probably isn't a great report to pull in October. So maybe instead of choosing 10/22, we'll choose our custom date range, and we'll do September 1st to September 30th. Let's do last month's data just so we can update this. All right, so we got September 1 through September 30th. So we've got our average sales prices up 14%, 339K. We've got our medium list price up 14, list price per list ratio down 1%, number of properties sold 43, and 52 new listings in this area. So a couple things that we can do for this market snapshot. Number one, we can edit the data points up here at the top right. So we can change this. So, and maybe instead of, I don't know, new listings, we wanted number of properties for sale. And maybe instead of number of properties sold, we want average days on market in our report. And if we hit save, it's actually going to customize ours. So now we have number of properties for sale and average days on market, which is up 100%. So we can really show the amount of time that, properties are sitting on the market now. So this report is customizable. You can kind of slice and dice it depending on what type of data point you want to add, and you can see right here where it's got your value and your change. So you could use your, maybe you don't want to put anything that's down, you only want to put the up, so you changed your report to be all the green ups. Or maybe some of these data points are just more informative and more to what you want on your report. That's totally up to you, right? It's your business, you own your business, you're your own contractor, you make and you choose what you want to put on your report. That's why you have this option to slice and dice it the way that you want. Once you have your snapshot the way you want, you can share your snapshot. You can either download it or you can email it. So again, if you want to do a social media one, I would suggest using the square option. You can also do a postcard. So let me show you what the postcard looks like. A lot of you ask me, do we have anything for specific areas in the snapshots? And you can actually download a PDF and take it to Express Docs and get a postcard made. So here's the front of the postcard, and you would do the back of the postcard with your information. I already got my information at the bottom here, but it'll say the zip code and the date range, what the property is that we're looking at. And here is the postcard example that you could just upload to Express Docs and get a market snapshot postcard sent out to your farm area. So that's another way to just kind of hit them with the statistics. Maybe you could do a year-to-date one or a quarterly one. I don't know if every month would be a little obsessive, but if you've got the money and you think it works, then go for it. I would love to see someone do it every month, but I would say it'd probably be either every other month or a quarterly postcard that I would send out to my neighborhood. Again, you can download it just, wide, tall, or square. If you're going to put it in your Moxie presentation, you can do the tall version. That way you can add it. And then you can also email it. So if you wanted to email it to a specific client, you could do that as well. So that is Market Quest V2. Again, you've got 4 reports in one. How you get to the dashboard is by clicking on Market Quest. Make sure you have the correct MLS when you're running these reports. You can run 4 reports in Market Quest V2. This is an underused tool. I think it's a great tool that a lot of agents, the hard thing is, and the amazing thing with Caldwell Banker is we have amazing tools, but they're underused because half the time we're just kind of trying to get through the most important tools. So that's the kind of the goal of this meeting every Monday, is to show you tools that you have. And if you can take something from the tool and use it and apply it to your business, that's wonderful. And it just gives you a chance to kind of see a tool maybe that you haven't had the time to dive into. So that's kind of the whole purpose of Tool Time, is to show you guys a new tool, how you can apply it to your business, and how you can make it beneficial for your time by getting listings. So hopefully this helps you. Some ideas that we have with some agents that they use this for. Some people print this out at the office and walk it and do like a flyer type of a thing and do old-fashioned door knocking and walking. You saw you can make a postcard. That's a great idea. You can add it to a newsletter if you wanted to do a neighborhood newsletter. You could see if the HOA would allow you to add this graphic to their newsletter or their board, if they have a community board, just to show the current residents what their property values are doing and what it looks like. So some good ideas that you could do with these reports, as well as adding them to your Moxie presentations, just to add that one extra little layer of data point in your farm area in that specific area. So I hope this helped. Let me stop sharing my screen and see if there's any questions. Anyone have any questions for me? Monday. It's October.
Hey, Brittany, it's Kelly.
Hey.
Hey, I had a question for you. I get kind of confused on when to use Market Quest and when to use Prospect Square.
That's a great question. So Market Quest is going to be more of a like share it on social media, share it in your Moxie presentation. Prospect Square is going to be more of an emailed presentation. It's a little bit more intense. You can also get a live link. So if you want to do like a specific area where you have a live link and you want to, link the market position or the market data, you could do it that way through Prospect Square. You can see in Market Quest V2, it doesn't allow us to create a link. It's really like a picture. It's more like a diagram. So I would say this is more for social media use and for Moxie presentations. And I would say Prospect Square is going to be more for emailing a specific person over and over again about their area. as well as creating those live links. So like we did, Kelly, the other day in the office where we linked your farm area, and every time they opened up that link, it updates, properties that are on the market. You can really kind of look at properties on the market and you can see the different ones with the pictures and everything in Prospect Square, whereas MarketQuest, it doesn't link that data, just kind of gives you a snapshot.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, kind of a long-winded answer, so I apologize. Anyone else have any other questions? No? All right. Well, that ends tool time for today. Thank you guys for joining me. Next week, we will be doing actually Prospect Square. So come back for Prospect Square if that interested you. Another great tool that we have. I'm looking forward to see each and every one of you. Thank you for spending time with me on Monday. I know that it gets crazy. I just want you to know that I'm here for you. If you have any questions, come to this meeting and just ask me the questions. I'm here to answer your questions. So just know that this is also a time for a Q&A as well as learning a new tool. So I'm going to stop the recording right now. That way it'll be ready for